like it when you lose it. I like it when you go there. I like the way you use it. I like that you don't play fair. Recipe for disaster. When I'm just trying to take my time. Stroke is getting deep and faster. You're screaming like I'm out of line. Who came to make sweet love? Not me. Who came to kiss and love? Not me. Who came to beat it up? Rocky. And don't use those hands to put up that gate and stop me. When we fuck. When we fuck. When we fuck. When we fuck. I can be aggressive. I can be a savage. I just need your blessing. Say that I can dance. When we fuck. When we fuck. You love it when I lose. You love it when I go there. You love the way I use it. You love it, I don't play fair. You end up calling me master. Say this universe is mine. Yeah. When we're done, it's a disaster. Yeah, end up like this every time. Who came to make sweet love? Not me. Who came to kiss and love? Not me. Who came to beat it up? Rocky. And don't use those hands to put up that gate and stop me. When we fuck. When we fuck. When we fuck. When we fuck. I can be aggressive. I can be a savage. I just need your blessing. Say that I can dance. When we fuck. When we fuck. Face down, ass up. Back it up. Let me get both of them legs, yeah. And put them both behind your head. Shit's getting deep up in there. Feel your legs getting weak up in there. Yeah, face full of that gushy. I'm close, baby, don't push me. This is how it always should be. When we fuck. When we fuck. When we fuck. When we fuck. I can be aggressive. I can be a savage. I just need your blessing. Say that I can dance. When we fuck. When we fuck.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Diamond Rivera of the Live Discussions with Diamond podcast. And you're tuned into another special episode tonight. I believe this is episode 125. Man, how far we've come. And tonight, people, but before we get started on things, this episode is sponsored by Bachata Radio, where you can listen to this interview in high quality. And what you just saw was a 2019 Dallas Bachata Festival lap dance demo by the one and only Alejandro Rey and Erica Nicole. And again, people, our special guest tonight, a person I met many years ago, and not only is an amazing dancer, director, entrepreneur, but someone I can call a friend. We have all the way from the West Coast, the one and only Alejandro Rey.
Yo, what's good, man? How you doing? How we doing?
Was good. It was good, my brother. I mean, it's been so long. I mean, seeing that video gave me chills again. But realizing that even with a platform like this, we're able to connect. It's really amazing again to see you again. It's not physically, but see you through everything. And my first question, my brother, man, is how are you doing?
Hey, man, I'm blessed, man. You know what I mean? Like my my legs, my hands, my mind works clearly, and I have no complaints, man. God is good. You feel me?
Absolutely, man. I mean, and honestly, I would say over this past year, it's really shown how resilient our dance community is. Realizing how dance can be here one day, gone the next, but seeing now a year later when that recovery stage and things are looking better. And honestly, I think it's great that with a platform like this that celebrates the success of artists like yourself that have been around for so many years. I mean, we had met in about 2017, but me not realizing how extensive your track record goes. I mean, even dating back when bachata was in small rooms and seeing
Yeah.
how influential you especially have been with your former collaborations in the past. But yeah, man, for me having this platform, it's an honor to have a person like you that's contributed so much to this dance world.
Thank you. It's an honor to be invited to share these stories with you, man. So
Absolutely.
everybody
And
does.
of course, here we have some live comments coming in as we saw during the video. One, of course, from Vince Torres saying, Alejandro knows why I'm here. And so I think he said earlier in the video, Facebook is gonna ban you guys for that. Man, hey, I can't blame you, man. I mean, let me just say in Dallas Bachata Festival, when you do those lap dance demos or those classes, it gets hot, it gets steamy, it gets personal, it's an experience all to itself.
Yeah, it gets all the above, man. And the interesting thing about it is we've been doing that class since 2009, but it wasn't
Mm,
until about 2017 where Erica and myself we decided that you know what, let's allow the cameras in here and
yeah,
let's start to record our demos because prior to that, so I would say between 2009 and 2017, I would not allow anybody to record me at all,
yeah.
not even the demo. Like we would still do demos at the end of the class, but it was like this is for your eyes only. Remember this as best as you can because I'm not gonna show this to you again, and I'm not gonna let you record it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's funny you say that because in that sense, it kind of keeps the mystique around it. But
Yeah,
like you said, 2017 was kind of that turnaround, and seeing really the success of it for me and my standpoint as being the person who filmed that film. But literally, I think it was in two takes we did it. And for me, when I saw it, it was like, man, just that connection. But overall, I think too what I loved about that class at that time, and we'll get into everything else, but me saying was that seeing all of the people that learned from you guys felt comfortable. They loved each and every moment. Even people who weren't actual couples deciding to take on that class and
yeah,
that maturity and having fun. I mean, that's what it's all about.
yeah.
And
It really is. Yeah. It's funny because I was introduced to that concept in 2009, and it's about to be story time up in here. So
absolutely.
yeah, yeah. Another thing, I can't see you, bro. I can't see nothing. You can see me, okay though?
Yes. Let's see
All
if
right.
we can do this. How's this? A little better?
Let me see. Hold up. Okay, try it again.
Let me see. Put
Yeah,
that.
because I'm just frozen up on my side. I got a still image of myself
Gotcha.
and
Because
of
I
you.
can hear you and see you fine.
Okay, well then, we'll just keep it rolling. I'll just pretend like it's a telephone call or something.
Gotcha.
Okay, cool. So yeah, check this out, man. 2009, it was the Reno Bachata Festival.
Hmm.
2009. So this was the first of its kind in the U.S., to our knowledge, of course. It was the first publicized bachata festival, right? And
Hmm.
I had the opportunity, the privilege of being able to attend. So I look on the workshop schedule and I see in the lower left corner, like room A, just you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
you get a look for it. I said lap dance workshop, and I said lap dance workshop. And the funny thing is, I was there with Vince Torres. I was like, Vince, check this out. They're teaching people how to do lap dances. And at the time, we would kind of do lap dances as a hobby. Like you would have the
Yeah.
bachata room, okay. And back then the bachata rooms, yes, they were obscure. They were off to the side. There was
Hmm.
no lighting, no decor. You just plug in, your system, start playing some burned CDs, right?
Yeah. Back in those days.
If you didn't have an iPod yet, you had burned CDs, and you left your CD blank, so you throw it in, you'd guess what song's gonna play next. But back to 2009 Reno Bachata Festival, we saw that there was a lap dance workshop being presented and taught by a woman named Summer, and
Mm.
Summer's from Tucson, Arizona, out of all places, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just like, whoa, what's about to jump off in here? So of course, I'm attending as a participant, as an attendee. I'm sitting there, and
Yeah.
what it was is she was able to guide these women through a lap dance workshop. At that point, it was only women for men. So
Hmm.
the gentlemen, we were all sitting down. We are just kind of like looking at each other, like what's about to really jump off, right? But the way she initiated the class, the way she presented the movements, and just the whole introduction just set the tone. Like this isn't going to be this isn't no Magic Mike. This isn't no
Yeah.
nothing you've seen on TV. This is for the grown and sexy. This is the real deal. This is for the mature folks, and this is how it's going to jump off. We're going to
Hmm.
do dances for each other. We're going to keep it within this room. We're going to keep it within ourselves. And some of these moves require a lot of contact. Some of these moves require you to put yourself or your partner in compromising positions,
Yeah.
right? So we're like, oh, this. And Summer, she has that presence. She has that delivery and that whole womanly femininity about herself that you don't mess
Hmm.
around with. So whatever she says, goes. So that's how the class went. And it's funny thing is Vince was sitting next to me, and they had a section to the right where it was couples and people who weren't rotating, and then they had a
Hmm.
section to the left where people were rotating. So you're sitting there and you're getting danced on by a number of different women. And the thing is another thing that was communicated at the beginning of the class was, you're about to get a dance from person A, person B, person C.
Mm.
Regardless of who's in front of you, you focus on that person. It's their time. You don't worry about who might be next or who just danced on you. Whoever's in front of you at that
Yep.
moment, you show them that love and that respect, because it takes a lot for people to put themselves
Yeah.
in that position. So we're like, yeah, yes, ma'am. We'll do. And class was done. It was crazy. It was great. Um, Summer has her own vibe. She has her own soundtrack, so it was cool. And I had the idea. I was like, you know what? Like, we do this for fun. We do this all the time. Why don't I present this to the organizer and see if they'll do a male/female
Hmm.
collaboration? They loved the idea. They gave me the green light, and this took place in the first ever, well, my first ever lap dance workshop, where the men were dancing on the women,
Yeah.
and vice versa, was in San Francisco. San Francisco Bachata Festival,
Mm.
2009.
Wow.
2009, man. There were 160 people in that workshop.
Wow.
160, 80 couples. And this was my first time, man. You could bet I was nervous. But it went off. As soon as I put on that R&B, I put on that Trey Songz, I put on that I took them back. I brought that Keith
Oh.
Sweat, I took them
Oh.
back a little bit,
Yes.
hit them
Yeah.
with that Genuine, So as soon as I heard my music, I was in my zone. And ABC, one thing led to the next, and it was a success. And
Hmm.
we've been teaching that workshop since 2009.
Wow, man. And just
Yeah.
realizing the history within that. Like you say,
Oh,
2009, man, because
yeah.
when we remember the time that salsa was king, you
Hmm.
couldn't go anywhere without finding a salsa social. You'd be lucky if you heard a bachata song by Aventura or maybe by Extreme, if you
Or
were
Monchi
lucky.
and Alexandra, dude. They would
Yes.
always play there. Yeah, for real.
I mean, so and to see how far, especially the bachatas come in terms of the styles, the modern, the traditional, the urban, the sensual. There's so many, but also realizing for me, being in the dance scene, especially on the East Coast for over 20 years, people like Edwin Rivera and others really put me up to game on understanding about, especially the West Coast scene and how much the West Coast is so diverse with so much talent. And it's really hard to make a name for yourself. But like you said, 2009 and that time coming, and that really is historic in my opinion, because before that, you just had your regular salsa workshops or your body movement, but actually taking people out of their normal element and putting them in a different reality, I think was special, but also teaching them how to respect the partner, because then that's a whole different role you're playing. And that's something that's really commendable. And for me, as I talk to all of my guests, understanding all the success you've had on the stage, but I also believe it's really more important as well to understand the person beyond the dance floor, beyond the performances, and understanding who the human being really is. So kind of give us an understanding as I ask all of my guests. And the first question is, who is Alejandro Rey before dance?
Before dance. Well, before dance, Alejandro Rey was commonly known as Alejandro Mendibles. Mendibles that's my government name, that's my family name. And I was a football player. I played football in high school. I played in college. I was being recruited by USC, Division I football, and I didn't end up playing or going to school there. However, I went to a small school, a Division III private school called Whittier College. I played 2 years there. And so football I was an athlete. Football, I ran track. I ran the 100, the 200, the 4x1, and I played basketball too, just recreationally. But as far as competitively, I was a track athlete and a football player. I was a wide receiver, so I wasn't holding as much weight as I am today. This was a while back. So, but man, football was just competition, just that being on the field. Being in the weight room, just training for your competition, studying your opponent on film and learning their strengths and their weaknesses, and then finally facing your opponent that Friday or that Saturday and being in that battle in that moment. That's the interesting thing is I carry that with me onto the dance floor. Like when it comes to a big dance event or a competition or a festival or anything like that, or a debut, I treat it like an opponent. Like I study my strengths, I study my weaknesses. I look at what I'm good at. I look at what I lack in, and I try to compensate in those areas so that my presentation or my competition or that my partnership itself is sufficient and presentable. So prior to dancing, Alejandro Rey was known as, and Rey is my middle name. Okay, it's my given name. My mother named me my middle name Rey, which means king, and that's just symbolic of me being the first grandchild of my generation. Football was what I did prior to dancing. But interestingly enough, I danced as I played football because my mother, she owned this our logo right here, Paso Dance Company. She started the dance company in 1994 when I was 10 years old, man. And I didn't join dance willingly. I joined it reluctantly.
Yes, me too. Yeah. I know.
So it was like, look, if you want to play ball, you're gonna have to learn how to dance. I'm like, Mom, I don't want to dance. Like, it's 94, it's LA. No one's dancing. The guys who are the guys ain't dancing. And she was able to convince me. And the cool thing about that is over time, I would say, and I started Mexican dancing. I started doing folklorico. Yeah. That's why the logo itself, we still hang on to this logo and we apply it to the different divisions and variations of dance we have. We hold on to that same logo because it started as the folklorico. That silhouette is a silhouette of a Mexican charro, which is a common image in the state of Jalisco in Mexico. It's one of the most identifiable images of you think Mexican. Perhaps you think of the Tapatio guy, or you think of like a mariachi, right? So boom, that's what you get right there. The first thing you think of. With that, I was able to study and learn the history of these dances, and over time I was able to develop a sense of cultural pride and a sense of connection to Mexico. Although I am Mexican, I'm from Long Beach, California. I'm from Los Angeles. So, and I have no family in Mexico. Like, we're all here. But the one thing that we hold on to is the dance, is the music, is the culture, is the food. And, you know, when I put on that mariachi, that charro suit, you know, it transcends, you know, myself. It's those who came before you. It's those who stand alongside you, and they represent the same thing, and that's cultural pride.
Absolutely. I mean, realizing, like you said, you kind of being ingratiated into this culture unbeknownst to you, or not really under your will. It's kind of just embedded in you. I've gone through the same thing, but I also understand where that parental advice is coming from, because when sometimes, especially with Puerto Ricans, when we come from Puerto Rico, you know, most Puerto Ricans from Puerto Rico see us as different. So, I mean, it's almost like you're trying to just hold on to anything that really identifies with your culture. And that's something I really appreciated, especially from you over the years and the choreographies you've done. And we'll get into how you got started with it. But something I had to say was that I really admired and appreciated how much of the dedication that you put involved in your routines that also pay homage to Mexican Folklorico. Because again, like you said, this is where it all started. And even though you're over the years evolving, going into different styles, always finding a way to give back, I really appreciate it. You know, and my next question to you then is, of course, you've been like, dance has always been a part of your life within the dance company and your mom. So when did you kind of get into the quote unquote dance world? I know, of course, LA or Long Beach, California, you know, is a place within itself that I heard, you know. So tell me what was it like with that first experience of maybe going to your first class or your first social?
Okay, so going to my first class, my first organized salsa class, I started as a salsero. You know, people that come from back in the day, they know that. You know, these new cats and a lot of the up and coming artists are unaware of that. But I started as an on-one salsero, and this was when on-one salsa was hot.
Yeah,
it used to be this huge on-one on-two thing, and I mean, that was my introduction. My introduction was learning how to dance on the one beat. So that was what was popular. That was what was around me. So that's what I participated in, and that's what I immersed myself into initially, right?
Yeah.
I would say that took place around, I was 16. I was about 16, 17 years old. And like I said, at that point, I had grown to appreciate and to love dancing. And then I was willing to take these classes and to seek instruction on my own account. Therefore, when I was 16, I took classes with a gentleman by the name of Alex Mendieta. And he's a known dude out in the West LA area, and he's been giving classes for a cool minute. And so I was taking these classes, I would say on the weekends, here and there when I could. When I got to college, I was 18, and by the time my freshman year of college, well, let me say my sophomore year, I needed another job. You know, you're in college, you're broke.
Yeah.
You got that work study job that pays you minimum. It's like I need to get this bread, and I need to be able to do so without breaking my back. So one of my teammates had the bright idea to bring me into the club game as a bodyguard, as a bouncer, as security. He's like, yeah, man, you know, you just, for the most time, you just post up, you know, keep your eyes open. Every now and then, if there's an altercation, you intervene, this and that. It sounds easy, right? So when I was 19, and it all ties in together, man, it's all intertwined. When I was 19, I was invited by a family friend to attend, I think it was the Spirit of Dance. I think that was the name of the event. It took place at the Hollywood Park Casino. And the Hollywood Park Casino was the old location of the LA Salsa Congress, aka Salsa Land.
Yes.
Salsa Land. So it wasn't indoors, it was outdoors, and it had very elaborate, it looked like a circus.
Yes, it was the white tent. Yes, I used to perform in that same, I remember.
Salsa Land. So like I said, this is all connected, man. You know, I'm building up. I'm building up right here. So I'm at the Hollywood Park Casino. I'm 19. I'm a kid. You know, I got my button-up shirt on, but you know, it's just, it feels kind of funny because you know when you're 19, you're not really rocking it like that.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm in the salsa club, and I'm able to apply what I've learned, but I'm really just seeing what it is, right? I'm seeing people just asking each other to dance. I'm seeing you know, the band on stage. I'm seeing performances, but what I'm really noticing is that the vibe is friendly, it's welcoming, it's Latin.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of good energy. And I'm just like, you know what, I like this. At the time, I was a bouncer at like a hip hop club, right? So it was night and day. So initially, what I thought to myself is like, like maybe I should, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? I should approach the head of
Yeah.
security here and ask if he could be in need of my services. So I asked around and I said, you know, who can I speak to about getting a job here, working security? So you speak to that gentleman over there. Well, that gentleman was Mr. Albert Torres. So I'm 19 years old, and I approached Albert Torres, and I asked him if I was able to work his events, and he said, yes, you may. You can start in a couple weeks. Well, in a couple weeks was the LA Salsa Congress.
Wow.
So I started. My introduction to the Latin dance scene was as a security guard at the 2004 LA Salsa Congress. Mr. Albert Torres.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing. That's funny because I was there. I
Whoa.
was there, part of David Melendez's group, the Heartbreak Boys or Junior Heartbreak Boys during that time.
I've seen those pictures and those videos, bro.
Yeah, so I mean, like, it just goes full circle and realizing our paths had crossed at one point. And that's amazing story of how you got into this world of, you know, kind of going to the top of the top without even knowing it. I mean, being a bodyguard and kind of then experiencing that world before getting into the dancing part. What were those experiences like, being a bouncer at these events or at the Congress?
At the Congress, it was honestly, it was night and day because as aforementioned, I was in the hip hop scene doing security there. So we were pretty busy, to say the least. We're pretty busy. But at the salsa events, we were not busy. The height of our responsibilities were just making sure that everyone had. Back then, you had ID cards. You didn't have wristbands.
Yes,
you used to have an ID card with your picture on it, so people would flash me their IDs, and that would check. All right, this is you. Go right ahead. Enjoy your comments. Enjoy your workshop. This and that. Right. And also, what we had to, what we were responsible for was making sure people didn't jump the fences into the event.
Yep.
Because sometimes they would do that. They would straight up jump the fence to try to get it, you know, in their suit, their button-up shirt, and all that with their church shoes, their Sunday morning shoes, and they would straight try to hop the fence, man. But luckily for me, I never encountered that personally. The height of my responsibility was just making sure you had your ID, and then, you know, welcoming you and making you feel, welcome to the event. And the cool thing about that was too is I wasn't always busy checking the ID. So what I would do is I would walk around and I would see these workshops. I would see workshops from salseros in Australia, salseros in New York, salseros and all over the world. And I'm just, you know, at that time, at that period of my life, that specific period, the full extent of my traveling was just for football. Like I had only traveled in the US to play at different colleges. Like I had never been for dancing. I had no prior knowledge that they were dancing salsa all over the world. And that was cool. And that was something that motivated me and inspired me to, man, you know, maybe I could do it too. You know, they're out here in countries where they don't speak a word of Spanish or even a word of English, and they're doing our dance. They're doing the dance that we like to do. You know what I mean? It's like this nonverbal universal form of communication. You know?
Yes, absolutely. So, from you being a bodyguard, of course, around 2004, 2005 time, and I think that was a really great period. I mean, I think when I use the term everything happens for a reason, I think that really stands true because those moments, especially me remembering 2004 going onward, but really the 2000s when salsa was really just like exploding from the West and East Coast, but also globally. Seeing like at LA, you're seeing people from all over the world. So my question to you is kind of moving past then the security aspect. When did you start actually going to classes officially and really working on, kind of becoming a dancer?
Yes. So I would say I got to give a lot of credit, a lot of love to Bernard and Sonia Martinez. They're from New York City. They're from New York City, and they came down to Orange County, I'd say in about 2005, 2006, and they opened Danceport, California. And at Danceport, California was where I really took my dancing to the next level.
Yeah.
Right? I would attend classes with the intention, knowing that at some point very soon I would like to present what I'm learning. Of course, when I'm ready, and of course when I'm proficient at being able to do so.
Yeah.
So I went with that intention to be able to one day put myself in that position. So I soaked a lot of game. I absorbed a lot of knowledge from Mr. Bernard Martinez and his wife Sonia. They're from New York. They knew everybody. They would bring down Ismael Otero. They introduced me personally to Tomas Guerrero Santo Rico. I was just like, man, these are dudes I would see on the beginning days of YouTube, right?
Yeah.
This is cool. I'm starting to meet these New York dudes, and I'm really learning. Like now, I'm learning what it's like over there.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just like, what? Like it feels, it looks, it just kind of seems these guys talk different, they dress different.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
This is cool. I like this. I like this. And it was around, I would say 05, 06. That's when I was over at Danceport taking classes multiple times a week. I'm taking on one. I was getting my feet wet with on two, but I wasn't, I'll admit I didn't understand it yet, so I stepped back and I was comfortable with the on one, so I kept with it. But I would have these long talks, these invaluable talks, right? And I can't show enough gratitude for Mr. Bernard Martinez, when he would just put me up on so much game, dance-wise, music-wise, culture-wise. Puerto Rican American, he's Boricua dude, right, from New York, right? So he would kick me down with free game, and I'm in debt. I'm indebted to him because of that, man. 05, 06, Danceport, California, for sure.
Wow, man, 05, 06, and many people who think about it, like none of them would even. How many people I know never even took in a salsa class, maybe until 2012, 2013. So to see how far back really your journey has gone, it's really amazing to hear, because I remember those times, like you said, YouTube wasn't even around. I mean, the only way you could see a performance was buying the DVD at the Congress, getting home to play it, and seeing if you can burn it to someone else's. Man. I mean, even when we had cell phones, they were not on the level that we have now. So, I mean, just seeing how far our community has grown from social media, from being able to really expose a couple in a matter of 2-3 minutes, a video can go viral, and just seeing the transition and evolution of our community. So my question to you is, 2005, 2006, you've taken your first class. When was the moment, of course, you training, that you took it upon yourself to then become a teacher and start traveling and start performing?
Okay, so 2007 is when I launched my Bachata Sunday series at PDO, at Stepsicle Dance Studio. So that's when I started charging people or that's when people started paying me to teach them how to dance bachata. Was in 2007.
Wow.
It wasn't until 2008 that I received my first invitation to teach, to perform, to be groomed, and to be compensated for those services. So I like to consider 2008 as my rookie year, as the first year I went pro, so to speak.
Yeah.
And that was through the Salsa Mambo Festival, which used to take place in Palm Springs. That event, I believe, took place. It took place twice a year. They would have a summer event. They would have a New Year's Eve event. And I think the lifespan of that event was between 05 to about 2012. And that was Bernard and Sonia's event too. The couple from New York, that was their event. And it was in 08 where Bernard saw that I was fit and I was ready to teach in a workshop setting. So man, I was nervous, man. I was nervous like crazy. But you know, it all just goes back to you. It becomes muscle memory. Once you get out of your mind and into your body, you know, it's like I've done this before. You know, I've shown people how to do a couple moves. I've explained. You know, I've broken down music. You know, let's do this. Once I start moving, it's just poetry in motion.
Man, so of course, then you start teaching, you start to gain that fan base. What was it like now? Of course, going from just teaching students regular patterns or sequence to now having a team that really relies on you to make sure everybody is in sync.
Hmm. And there's a funny thing too. Like I said, everything kind of overlaps and is intertwined.
Mm-hmm.
Funny thing is, I started my team here. I started my lab. So it's possible it was PDO, right?
Yeah.
But within PDO, we have names for different groups, different companies.
Yeah.
So what we refer to my group at here is Latin Gold. So
Yeah.
I started Latin Gold, Basa de Oro, in 2004. So I had the group since then. I've been choreographing Latin routines and so forth. And let me tell you, man, we were doing fulanito, we were doing merengue, you know, we were doing reggaeton before Daddy Yankee, before we were doing like reggaeton when it was from Panama, bro, like El Chombo, Rey Pirin, Bobby Chulo, you know, that's
that's classics. Like,
bro, there was a Salvadorian cat in Uptown Whittier, the city that I went to school in. There was a Salvadorian cat. He would get all the Latin CDs from everywhere, and he was one putting me up on game. And let me get that mala fe, let me get that you know, it's hard to just on the spot, but man, merengue was hardcore. So we would do these merengue tracks. Every time Fulanito was in town, I was there. Oro Solido, dude,
yeah,
I was there. So we started off with merengue heavy, you know, merengue heavy, cumbia, reggaeton. Like, I think they referred to it as like reggae en español back then. Like,
wow.
And then our first bachata, the first bachata we ever did, obviously, which, you know, most other people's bachata was Obsession. You know, it was like, oh, I'm gonna do that. My goodness, what is this? This is groundbreaking. I've never heard this music before. You know, not knowing that music's been going down for a good minute up to that point. This is the first time I've heard of it, kind of thing.
So then,
sorry, man. So yeah, started choreographing the groups since 2004. As far as the festivals go, started that in 2008, and then my weekly social classes 2007. So around that little mid 2000s era.
Man, and just seeing how, honestly, not just impressive, but I mean, really groundbreaking it was, because what you're saying really, and I'm hearing throughout your story, is that, to be honest, from the West Coast, you were one of the first bachata instructors. And for me now, realizing this dates back even before 2009, and realizing how far that history goes, because I think New York for us, maybe it was 2011 or 12, maybe a little earlier, but realizing places like California or LA, which was so rich in history and salsa, actually having artists that are taking on that challenge of bringing bachata and making it marketable within our community.
Oh yeah. You know, it's funny because I was so 2007, 06, and as aforementioned, it all started in a dark room. It all started like on the side, it started like in after parties at people's hotels. We're gonna do a bachata after party because back then to dance bachata, it was because everyone was doing salsa. Everyone was doing salsa, and they would have merengue or cha-cha breaks.
Yes, the breaks when everybody
have merengue or cha-cha breaks, right? And so for people to go from salsa, and the way they were dancing salsa back then, especially in LA, very flashy, very showboat, very, very just eccentric, right?
Performance.
Very performance. Even on the social dance floor, right? Cats were doing the most, right?
Yes.
For them to slow it down and to turn on that bachata, to grab your partner close, to get your basic on with that flow, that was a big step for a lot of people. That was a big step for a lot of people. So put that into context when you present and advertise a lap dance class. You want me to what? You know what I mean?
I mean, but hey, you know what it is? The saying goes, if it isn't you, who else will do it? And
Right.
realizing, you know, what I appreciate, especially over the years, I would say if we can kind of push forward, is understanding how groundbreaking really you are from not just the bachata aspect, but bringing that lap dance style to congresses and actually making people expose their vulnerability. And to be honest, I think it also helped dancers a lot because it helped them understand or respect other people's bodies and understanding of that intimacy. You must trust your partner. And I think it takes a special person or an instructor like yourself, as well as your follow, to communicate that to your students because whatever you're teaching them is a reflection when they put it out to the world.
Wow. Yeah, that was a great way of putting it. That was a great way of putting it. Whatever I'm teaching them is what they're putting out to the world. Wow, that's hardcore. That's
Man, I mean,
hardcore.
I've had time to think, man. I mean, you know, for me seeing you over the years, even going on YouTube, doing my search and seeing all the way dating back to 2011, because 2009, 2010, like you said, Reno, San Francisco,
Yeah.
also Sydney was happening,
That's right, Sydney.
and realizing too now bachata was slowly creeping because, like you said, from one point it being in a small little cut in a little room
Mhm.
and now gaining some steam. It started really overseas, worked its way west coast, and slowly trickled down. But for me, being a hardcore salsero, I would call myself at one point, seeing that change happen almost overnight, and seeing now, I was watching videos. I'm like, wait, this is Alejandro? When you had the Caesar, you had the low cut. I was like, oh wow, I've been watching this guy's videos for years, and I couldn't even put two and two together. I was like, he looks a little skinnier. I was like, and he got the Caesar cut. I'm like, oh shit, this is Alejandro. And this was when you were dancing with Jessica Trujillo.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Right.
like YouTube, I'm seeing 7, 9, 11 years ago, and I'm like, it baffles my mind when people are trying to say what bachata started a lot later. No, it's been for a while. It's just that there's always those moments in time when things really become more mainstream.
Yeah, it's definitely been jumping off for 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 a considerable amount of time. Um, Jessica Trujillo, she was very instrumental too in helping me expand that lap dance class because she was my partner. Her and I traveled together from 2011 to 2013, Paris, where Amsterdam, Russia, China. We're showing, we're teaching lap dance in languages that we don't understand. We have over here. It's funny because she's on the chair. I'm in the middle of a freak move, right?
Yeah.
And the translator's right here. They're in a freak move. And everyone else is freaking, but they're looking because they're waiting for like
instruction
for the verbal, right?
Yeah.
So I give it to the translator. Translator is translated to the best of their ability. Then they deliver it. Then everyone does it, and it's like, oh, it's just like this butterfly effect, man. And that happened in China. That was funny, man. It was an experience because we were like looking at each other like, man, check this out, man. Like we're in China and we got the whole room, getting their 112, their jagged edge on. You know what I mean? So
wow, man. I mean, but seeing that, just what you're saying right there, realizing not many artists, especially during that time, the style of dancing that you were doing was given those chances. And like you said, going to Paris, going to Amsterdam, going to China, and influencing a whole new generation of dancers that probably wouldn't have known about this if you weren't there. And realizing those little moments of, hey, people really soak that in, and you're seeing how coming back to the States, how influential that type of dancing is becoming, because now it's hitting more mainstream, but now it's in the dance community and people are interested. So now my question to you is, with your many years of experience and traveling all over the world, what are some of your most memorable places you've been to and memorable moments on stage?
man, out of all the places, I've been, some of the most memorable moments have actually taken place at the Dallas Bachata Festival. Shout out to Mr. Jorge Elizondo. Jorge Elizondo, he's the man responsible for taking me international for the first time. He brought me to Spain in 2011. We did a 3-week tour. 2011, so that's where I was introduced. That's when I saw Central Bachata for the first time, because it was already popping off over there, and that's when I got my feet wet with Kizomba too. Like I was like, what's like? I thought they were playing reggaeton. I was like, why are they partner dancing reggaeton? Why aren't they getting their perreo on? You know what I mean? It's like that's not reggaeton. That's Kizomba. I'm like, what? Like, it sounds the same. And then I got schooled. I got straight from school, and I was like, okay, cool. This is what's popping off over here, but. George Elizondo, Dallas Bachata Festival, some of the most memorable moments. One of the most, I think you were there, man. I think you were there. It was very recent. I think 2 years, 1 year ago. Not 1 year. It was either 2 or 3 years ago. I did a performance with Erika Nicole. Erika Nicole, who was my standing partner for a good 5 or 6 years. We did the Canción del Bachatero and by Bachata Heights. And we had the Spanish/Folklorico Mexican theme, because Canción del Bachatero is a remake of Canción del Mariachi by Los Lobos, who's like a Chicano Mexican band. Yeah. That song was in the movie, the film Desperado, which was an old film from the 90s.
Yes, Antonio Banderas, Salma Hayek. Yes,
sir. I remember that. So I said, hey, this song is a remake of the song from Desperado. It's like, let's throw in some folklorico skills. Let's Spanish up the outfit a little bit. Throw a rose in your hair. I got the tight vest with the high pants. I'm dancing half of the song in an upright position. Yeah. And then we mix it so seamlessly that the crowd doesn't even understand that it went from the bachata version to the Mexican version. And then that's where we tie in the footwork. And the cool thing is Dallas, it has a heavy, Mexican American / Mexican population. So they were up on game. When they heard that and they saw the footwork, they knew what time it was. We got like this explosive reaction, man. It was just like, hell yeah, it felt really good, man. It's one of getting a little chills up in here. I'm getting chills. I got the AC on, but I'm getting chills from that memory. I'm over here zapateando, doing my feet like my grandma taught me, like my grandma taught my mom, like my mom taught me, right? And it was Jose Serrano from Chicago. Yeah. Jose Serrano from Chicago, he had the idea. He's like, I've never seen somebody do a zapateado with a woman on his shoulders. I'm like, so what are you telling me? He's like, I want you to lift Erica onto your shoulders, extend one arm, hold her with the other, and do your footwork. I'm like, I've never seen that either. Let's try it out. So at the very end, do a lip, bop. Erica's on my shoulder, one hand, she's extended in a pose. I'm extended out here, and the feet are going like that. Like I didn't even expect to do that myself. And I would say 99 times out of 100 times that we performed it, people were just like, "Whoa, that was cool." You know what I mean? Even cats in the Folklorico game, which is a whole other industry, right? Even some of them were showing love, like, man, that was cool how you mixed it up. And I was like, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, that's another example of the appreciation and you just focusing on bringing that awareness and still bringing it all the way back home. And I think that actually helps us transition into while we get to the present. Let's actually show a clip from the Dallas Bachata Festival 2019 from that very performance. Everyone, check it out.
Bachata Heights. If controversy is what you want, and controversy is what you get. México, República Dominicana, you already know. Soy un underground que me gusta lo mejor. Las mujeres no me faltan, el dinero y el amor. Andando en mi carroza por las calles yo voy. Las estrellas y la luna ya me dicen dónde voy. Me gusta tocar guitarra, me gusta cantar el son. Bachata me acompaña cuando canto.
Man, hold on. Let me get this fixed up here. Man, dude, I give you props, major props, man. I absolutely love that routine. I love the fusion. Man, it just brings back so many memories.
Yeah, it does, man. I was over here going through the hand
Yeah.
motion.
I
Actually,
mean, that's what dance does. So now it helps us transition into the present before we get into our last segment called the randoms. My last question I really have for you, before we show this last visual, is, with COVID happening, like I told many guests on this podcast, of how really us as dancers, our lives changed, our focus has changed, but also seeing a year later and us finding some sense of normalcy. You being a director, you being a studio owner, how were those times for you?
as they were difficult, but it put us in a position where we had to get creative, we had to innovate,
Hmm.
and also it really gave us an opportunity to develop more of a connection with our dancers, with from a studio perspective, with our customers, with the families that are involved, because when it
Hmm.
comes to we have all ages here, so with the juvenile students,
Yeah.
with their parents, with their guardians, this and that, of course, with our adults, with their families, who they're riding it out with, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? um, Everything initially was online, and once again, I have to acknowledge Eric and Nicole for having the foresight
Hmm.
to jump on Zoom ASAP. Like we didn't close,
Yeah.
thank God, thank the universe, whoever you believe in, thank them. We didn't close, and I'm grateful for that. If it weren't for people like Eddie Nicole, for my mother, Alicia,
Hmm.
you know, and of course for our our customer base, our students, our
Yeah.
team for supporting small business and wanting to see us succeed and not wanting us to close. They wrote it out and they stayed enrolled. We were on this Zoom thing. I had my phone like I have now, or
Yeah.
I had my laptop set up. Bop bop bop. 4 counts of 8 today. Let's get a stretch. Let's get a warm up. We're gonna move as if the world hasn't stopped. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because whether it stops or not, like time is constant. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like the clock is gonna keep ticking. You feel me? So as long as you're breathing, you have an opportunity to make a positive impact. So let's do this right here. So that was the mindset, man. It was more than dancing. We had to, it was motivating. It was mental. It's like how can we encourage and motivate our people to become uplifted today? How can we get them to look forward to logging on and to
Hmm.
get excited about dancing perhaps in their room, or dancing on a carpet, or dancing
Yeah.
in a closet? Like, not everybody had like an appropriate setting to dance in, but they were there dancing. They were letting us into their homes. They were letting us into their most intimate places,
Yeah.
because they entrusted us with that, and that was a building process, man. Just that whole Zoom
Yeah.
online class, uh, you know, era, so to speak,
Yeah.
right? Man, hardcore. But it helped us. It helped us build as well. Like I said, we had to get creative. We had to get original. We had to take it beyond dance. I had to point out the health benefits,
Yeah.
that come along, that coincide, that correlate with dancing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, cool, yeah, yeah. Not only am I dancing, but I'm also, I'm burning calories. I'm moving. I'm creating energy. You know what I mean? Like things like that. Had to do a little bit of extra work, but it paid off, and it's paying off, and it continues to pay off.
Mm. I mean, I definitely appreciate that, and I'm glad at least that a studio director and owner like yourself can still thrive, and realizing so many people that have kind of left our community, but realizing that we have people like you still here is really amazing. And right before we get to our last segment called the randoms, Alejandra, I would love for you to give us a little info on this last video. I believe this is with your new partnership, and
Yeah.
give us some kind of info on this before we hit to this video and get right to our last segment.
Okay. So 2021, we opened up our new location here. We're still in the city of Whittier, California, which is, for context, think of East Los Angeles. We're east of East Los Angeles in the suburbs, right? We opened up our new location, and in doing so, we went ahead and we took steps towards some new beginnings. And one of those new beginnings is the partnership with my upcoming dance partner, Carolina Solorio, who most notably performed and traveled with Abel Peña, who was a salsa champion from the late 2000s, I would say the mid to late 2000s era, ESPN salsa champion. So she was dancing with him for the past 3 years. We got together and we decided to put our talents together and see where it could take us. And we're very close to debuting the routine. The routine is actually done. We just have to connect the last. We just have to finish the last part. It's finished. We just have to do it to music, right? And it's fun. It's exciting. It's original. And you know, anybody you dance, every dancer, you know, their moves are their signature, right? So everybody's signature is unique to them. So regardless of who you dance with, it's gonna the product itself is gonna be unique. It's gonna be original. It's gonna be something different, and that's what I'm excited about, because I have something different that I'm looking forward to presenting, and I'm eager in anticipation of doing so, because just the rehearsals and then watching, you know, studying the tape, studying the videos, like I can't wait to do this in front of. I can't wait. I am waiting, but I look forward to the day to be able to share this with a live audience.
Absolutely, man. And everyone, definitely check this next video out. After this, we're getting right into our last segment called The Randoms. Check it out.
Six, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Six, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Man, another masterpiece. I definitely can't wait to see this collaboration, definitely for the future, man. And, you know, now, my brother, as you've seen these episodes, we love doing the segment called The Randoms. For you, I have some special questions lined up. So we're definitely going to get started. So all I need to know is when you are ready.
Yeah, let's run it.
All right. Number one, if you could have one wish, what would it be?
If I could have one wish.
Yeah.
If I could have one wish, man. If I could have one wish. That's not an easy question, man. If I could have one wish, I would say for my friends and family to be taken care of.
I love it. I love that answer. All right. Next question is, if you could have your own store, what would it be called?
My own store?
Yes.
My own store. These are random as hell, bro. My own store. That would be Big Hondo's Tacos.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Big Hondo's Tacos, yeah. Protein tacos, double, triple the size. That's right. Muscle food, baby.
And that brings me now to my next question. How did you get the name Hondo?
I got the name Hondo because my little non-Spanish speaking ass was having trouble pronouncing my own name when I was a child. So I would say, I couldn't say Alejandro. I would say Hondo, right? So My mom started calling me Hondo.
I mean, hey, I love the name. I mean, it's better than the big ass Mexican, as we always hear every time in Dallas. Got to thank Jay
For
Styles
real,
for
they'd
that.
be shouting that, man.
All right, next question here. I'm gonna give you this word. Just give me
Yes, sir.
what's the first thing you think about when you see it? Bling
Okay, what is
Empire.
this? Say it again.
Bling Empire.
Reality show.
Okay. Let's just say I got a few friends that have seen you on there and they're like, how do you can you give me his number? I'm saying no. Man, I love
Call
it.
my
All right.
manager. Call my manager.
Next one is favorite meal.
Favorite meal. I'm partial. I'm partial to the flag. Mexican food, baby. All
Okay.
day.
All
day.
right.
Yeah.
Love it. Next one. What is your favorite hobby besides dancing?
Lifting weights. Lifting weights. Love
Okay.
it, man. There's something about just throwing up that heavy iron that just kind of like it's therapeutic. It's soothing to the soul. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Absolutely. All right.
Yeah.
Next one is favorite football team.
Raiders, baby. Raiders. I'm from LA. When I was born, the Raiders were in LA, so I stayed true to the silver and black.
All right.
Yeah.
And my next question would be describe yourself in 3 words.
In 3 words,
Yes.
describe myself in 3 words. Creative, imaginative, and giving.
I love it. And my second before last question will be on a dance floor, what's your biggest turnoff?
My biggest turn off on a dance floor? Turn off. That's what you said, off.
Yeah, turn off. Like,
Turn the
when you're
light
on a
switch off.
oh no, we talking about like, you're at a social and somebody wants to dance with you. While they're dancing with you, they're just doing something that like, hey, I don't want to be in this dance right now.
They're just doing the most, huh?
Yeah. What's like a biggest pet peeve of yours?
Well, one of my biggest pet peeves actually occurs pre or post dance. It's when I'm maybe excusing myself to grab some water or to take a little sweat break. I'm 6'2", 225 pounds, so it doesn't take a lot for me to get hot, right? So I need my breathers every 3 dances. But sometimes I be feeling a tug or they'll pull me on the wrist, like.
Yeah.
I mean, tap on the shoulder would be cool, like that. You gotta pull me, girl. You gotta pull me.
Oh
right?
my God.
But I'm not tripping, man. Because the girl's been going through it for the longest. So if I can handle it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm there. I'm there to dance with everybody. I'm there to dance with whoever asks me to dance, and then of course with whoever I pursue and seek to dance with as well.
Absolutely, man. And now it brings us to our last question. I'm gonna change this one up because somebody actually just asked this, and I think you know the answer. It comes from Carlos Amezcua saying, "Bachata Nights 2."
Oh,
and what is
Bachata Nights 2, the sequel?
I think that's what he's saying.
Ooh, the reunion episode 10 years later.
I mean, it could happen. I mean, so what is your answer to that?
Once again, reality show. You know what I'm saying? Don't believe everything you see on TV. It's scripted and it's all paid for. It's never for free, baby. It's always paid for. Come on now.
Love it, man.
Keep the IMDb.
Absolutely, man. And honestly, thank you so much for doing this segment. I love doing it at the end. It helps me to get to learn about my guests a little more. And now it brings us to our end of our conversation. Alejandro, I really enjoyed it from start to finish. A person that I met about 3-4 years ago. You've always treated me well. And for me, you've been actually the main person that's helped me, especially my visuals go viral. I appreciate the work you've done over the years. And at least for me, before we go, can you give us any last few words, but also contact info on how people can reach you and see what you're up to next?
Of course. Once again, it's an honor to sit here and have this conversation with you. Just have this conversation in itself, kind of helps me replay some really memorable moments that have taken place, and also kind of just hearing myself reiterate those stories. It's joyful. It's heartwarming to relive those good things, and then to all just acknowledge. You get so caught up in the rat race and 9 to 5 running your own business. Like, what have I done? It's, oh, I have done that. Like,
Yeah.
let me pat myself on the back because I don't, you know, I like many other people, you know, we tend to not give ourselves enough credit. So so that's cool. You know, that was cool for me. And your visuals are clean. They're clean. They're sharp. They're innovative. They're clear. And that's why when I go to Dallas, I'm always looking for you. I'm looking for your team. Like, yo, Diamond, Diamond.
I know.
I got you, right? You know, I'll see you in the instructor's room. You know, we're getting the snack. I'm like, Diamond, I got that demo coming up at 5:50. You know, check me out. Oh yeah, you'll be there. And I see you coming in, man. It always goes down like that. And even the performance is sharp, clean. You got the perfect, you know, positioning is on point, the angles, and you help us present ourselves in a very professional and presentable fashion. So thank you for that.
Thank you, man.
As far as getting able to contact me, you can follow me on Instagram at the Alejandro Rey. That's THE Alejandro Rey, REY, the Alejandro Rey. StepsSchoolDance.com, Basso the Dance Company. Whenever you're in the Los Angeles area, check us out. We have workshops every month. We have classes multiple times every week. That's Facebook at the Alejandro Rey, and there it is. That's how you can get at me. Or you know, go in the bathroom mirror, turn off the light, say my name 3 times, see what happens.
Candy man, you just on it now. We ain't gonna do that in Dallas.
Mexican.
The Mexican. Man, brother, it's been a pleasure, honestly, tonight. Thank you so much for connecting. And honestly, I thank everyone tuning in who will tune in the future. It's been another episode of the Live Discussions with Diamond podcast, episode 125, with the one and only Alejandro Rey. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. See you tomorrow with our episode with Miranda Kitty. Everyone, take care. Be safe. See you later.